Welcome to One Brothas Mind, and I am KD Smooth. Today we will question and challenge popular information and views from a B1 perspective, while we expose the real facts you need. We do this to strengthen your logical, critical, and discerning thinking skills. Because in today's world, hard choices are mandatory and they come with consequences. So you need all the information. And at One Brothas Mind, we do this from a B1 Yeshua the Christ followers perspective. Now, if you're not ready, you better get ready with KD Smooth at One Brothas Mind. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's KD Smooth coming back at you with a new report. I pray you all are doing well. Shalom, family. Family, in today's report, we're going to briefly cover this. The gentleman that you see at the top left of your screen, he actually said a mouthful, let's say that, on a report of his own, and it's been popping around a little bit, but I don't think it's getting enough attention out here in these social media streets. So I'm going to share his report with you here briefly. And what he reported on is basically how white people or Europeans or whatever word you want to use, how white people got so rich. And he actually tells the truth. So I'm not going to beat it up too much. I want you to hear him straight from his mouth. Okay. And so, you know, I don't want to take the words out of his mouth, but I want you to hear him explain it. Again, this is the white gentleman at the top left of your screen, and we're going to hear what he has to say. And then right after that, we're going to come back here and chop it up really quickly. So without further ado, let me make sure I got it together for you. Let's see here. All right. I think we can do that a little bit better. Give me just a moment, family. Make it a little bigger for you. Make it a little bigger for you. And then we're going to check this out. Yeah. All right. I think that's about good enough. Okay. So we're going to check this out on his report. Let him speak in his own words on the issue of how white people got so rich. And then we'll come back and chop it up. Okay? Here we go.
And I'm telling you, folks, right there, how white folks got so rich. The untold story of American white supremacy. I mean, I just read about the Indian land grab, and I'm like, my gosh, man, good Lord. No wonder we don't want to teach the truth. No wonder we don't want to teach the truth. Because that means we've got to look people in the face and say our forefathers were the worst people in the history of mankind. The things that they did, that manifest destiny, that kind of mentality has been atrocious. What we have done to the African Americans. The estimated number of wealth that came from slavery.
Please pardon my background track. I'm trying not to get a copyright strike from. He's got a track on his video report, so just bear with me. Focus on what he's saying.
From free labor, and that's what it was. And they estimate that the amount of money that came from slavery was around $24 trillion. You can't even grasp that much money. The average person has a hard time grasping what $1 billion is. $1 trillion. Holy shit. And a lot of people don't want to admit the truth, because a lot of people also are scared that what happens if we actually do have to maybe pay reparations. Understand that everything, that beautiful Capitol in Washington, D.C. was built by slave labor. The majority of the churches in this country were built by slave labor. Our forefathers were lazy. And if they were smart, which they were, but the problem was they were cunning. Sad. And I'm telling you folks, right there, how white folks got so rich. The untold story of American white supremacy. I mean, and I'm telling you folks, right there, how white folks got so rich. The untold story of American white supremacy. I mean, I just read about the Indian land grab, and I'm like, my gosh, man.
There you have it, family. Yeah. So, real briefly, he broke it down in his own words, you know, and after doing some research of his own, because they purposely don't teach the truth, as all so-called black people know. They don't teach the truth in schools, right? It's not taught. So, you know, you're left to, if you ever do, research, learn, and discover the truth on your own of how white people got so rich. It was off of slavery. And there's some estimates out there, like he said, of up to $27 trillion. I think it was more than that, but hey, you know, you do the math. But it was, and that's just for slavery. That doesn't include all of the additional theft, wealth theft, and land theft that continued to occur after slavery, up all the way up to this day. It's still happening. It's literally still happening. There's just the names of different aspects of white supremacy and slavery and wealth theft have changed, but the effects are still there and it's still happening, which is why I literally just did a report a couple days ago. You got a lot of different states throughout the U.S. that are putting together committees and commissions to study actually paying foundational black Americans reparations. And pretty much one of the first states that put a committee together like this was California. And they've just a couple of days ago issued their final recommendations to the state of California. And those recommendations are for $5 million to be paid to each foundational black American. at the age of 18 and older. In addition to that, supplementing foundational Black Americans' incomes who make less than $97,000 a year, supplementing them to or up to $97,000 a year for the next 250 years. Now, there's obviously some criteria in this recommendation that foundational Black Americans have to be able to meet and prove, but it's not really that difficult, especially if you've done just reasonable research into your family history and you've gathered documents and information that confirms that you're a foundational Black American. It's not to all Black people. No, only the descendants of slaves, the foundational Black Americans who were here before the Europeans came, and the other foundational Black Americans who were brought here as slaves on the transatlantic slave trade. Okay? But yeah, so this just another white guy, white person out here that have done their research. They took the time to, read something, do a little research, and then go and challenge that research information, because the information is out there. Foundational Black Americans and others have been putting this information and research out there for decades, for centuries. But unfortunately, most of our white brothers and sisters, they won't take the time to go, okay, like the book he showed. Read the book, take notes, and then go see if you can dispute or confirm the information that's being presented. That's all. But most of our white brothers and sisters won't take the time to do that. Of course they're going to say that in their books. And, prove it wrong. Prove it inaccurate. Prove it incorrect. You can't. What's being actually done is the information in the reports or books that we're put out is being hidden. It's not being taught in schools where it's supposed to be taught, where, especially for our white brothers and sisters, if it's taught in schools, they would already know this stuff. But those white people in the powers that be, in government, especially white supremacists, they don't want their children or y'all as children to come to learn what this man has researched and learned, as well as many others. They don't want y'all to know, because if y'all don't know, that controls your political and world perspectives. What you know or don't know controls how you view the world and other people. So if you don't know the truth, if you don't know all the horrors and all the literal theft of wealth that occurred, then you have a completely different perspective, right? And having that different perspective and hearing a white brother or sister like this, or hearing about the reparations proposal in California for $5 million each and more, has y'all out here like this. Y'all out here losing your everlasting mind. Hell no. What you mean 5 million? What? That's not fair. No, slavery was not fair. Jim Crow, redlining, the prison industrial complex, the war on crack. You just go down the list. Discrimination, racism. You can just go down the list, man. There's a list of things. The governments, the banks, the colleges, the corporations, the insurance companies and businesses, directly and indirectly, all profited from slavery and all of the racism and discrimination and white supremacy that has occurred since so-called slavery ended. It never ended, y'all. Again, I just told y'all they just changed some of the names. switcherated the names around and called something, that's where you get something like redlining. Well, that's slavery. You're controlling and limiting the liberty and opportunity of so-called black people in America. Isn't that what slavery did? I mean, you can just go down the list. But again, I did a recent report there. Go to One Brothas Mind. Go on the video selection. Actually, it's one of the first videos you're going to see at the top of the screen about the $5 million reparations. But I've done several others. I'm going to show some of those screenshots here with you, where I go into much more detail explaining why the money is owed, the reparations are owed. So, yeah, cut the check. I mean, all your banks, every bank that you see on your screen, pause the video. Every bank, every name, Citibank, Bank of America, Lloyd's Bank, Chase, Barclays, HSBC, all the rest, all of them on your screen, they all started or were created historically from slave wealth, from slavery. And most of these banks on your screen are the same banks that have spawned off all of the banks today. Wells Fargo. I mean, I did a whole report. I literally gave you the names of the creators of these banks and some of the information on how they got their wealth. Again, they were either slave ship runners, slave masters, or they were in the insurance in the business of insuring slaves. You name it. It's everything, right? But now they sitting on all these big high tower buildings and all these big stacks of cash running the world. Still to this day. So again, here's a previous report that I did. Definitely go to One Brothas Mind, pull up some of these reports. I showed you the one about the $5 million to foundational Black Americans that are just produced a couple of days ago. I got several. Just go to One Brothas Mind, man. Just go do it and just start scrolling down. Check out the thumbnails and the headlines or titles and just make a plan, because you're going to be there a while. Why? Because here at One Brothas Mind, KD Smooth gives you the information and facts you need. So, again, family, as always, smash the like button, share this video on all your social media with all your peoples. And be sure to be subscribed to One Brothas Mind, okay? So you don't miss none of the updates and reports that we do when we go live or upload a new report. So yeah, I mean, this is what it is. This, but most of y'all, our white brothers and sisters, y'all think y'all just picked up this free money off the street. Okay? And it's just supposed to be all good. No, that money belonged to somebody. But yet y'all want to just keep rolling and running away with it. Dancing, skipping along, skipping-a-doo, skipping-a-doo. We winning. It's not going to continue. Reparations will be paid. And of course, many of our white brothers and sisters say, well, I didn't own slaves. I had nothing to do with it. I came from here. I did this. I came here and worked hard and built. Okay, all that fine. But why did you come here? Why did you come here? Or if it wasn't you, it was your parents, your grandparents. Why did they come here? The answer's on your screen. All the free money that was laying on the ground during slavery and after slavery. The free land giveaways that the U.S. government was giving to our white brothers and sisters back then. Free land grants. Teaching them to farm. Giving them farms. Teaching them how to farm for free. How to grow, get their farming businesses going and making crazy money. At the same time, while it showed them how to become sharecroppers, which was slavery, just by a different name, as I've told you, and enslave so-called recently freed so-called black people from slavery. They just put them back in slavery again and call it sharecropping, or Jim Crow laws, or the peonage law. Man, I go into all this on my previous videos, and I literally take the time to break it down step by step by step. Okay? So, because of that, that's why many of our white brothers and sisters are out here right now. He trying to hear none of this. They want no parts of this. It's not fair. Well, guess what? It's not been fair for so-called black people, foundational Americans, this entire time, for over 400 years. So, miss us with all your little frustration. Okay? So, just wanted to share that with you real quick, family. Again, smash the likes, share this report on all your social media, and be sure to be subscribed to One Brothas Mind, where we bring you the information and facts you need. And this concludes this broadcast for One Brothas Mind. We thank you for joining us, and as a part of the new black media, B1 choices are mandatory, and being on code is required. But never fear, Yeshua the Christ is with you always. Shalom.